morning again. This is our second day of the novena, and we will be reflecting on that phrase in the Magnificat, which says, "He has looked with favor on his lowly servant's lowliness, and he has mercy on those who fear him." Yesterday, we focused on how blessed Mary is for having been chosen as God's partner and instrument in bringing Jesus, the Son of God, into this world. We also saw how we too are blessed, precisely because of God's option to be on the side of humanity. For both, God is indeed worthy of praise and thanks. Today, as we continue with our reflection on the Magnificat, we will begin to see other reasons why God so richly deserves Mary's and our own thanks and worship. Some say that our image of God depends on our image of our parents. In jest, someone said that this is like saying God is made in the image and likeness of our parents. Joke or not, psychologists and theologians claim that it is not far from the reality. For experts say that if we view God as a stern disciplinarian and judge, it is probably because we see our Father that way. And if we, however, see God as loving, understanding, and compassionate, it is conceivable that that is also how we regard our parents. In the Magnificat, Mary presents an image of God that is definitely far from the strict disciplinarian judge that God is generally thought as. Mary says, "He looks with favor on his servant's lowliness." And then she adds, "He has mercy on those who fear him." Another way of expressing this is God appreciates a humble heart, or God has a soft heart for those who are weak, for those whom others consider without rank, without status, without importance. The second phrase, "mercy on those who fear him," is generally understood as he is merciful to those who recognize and respect his justice. When one recognizes that God will do right by those who are discriminated against, then he will have a healthy fear of God, because it grows out of a proper respect for God's justice. So compassion and mercy, or mercy and justice, these two go together in God. As a contemporary theologian puts it, compassion is God's name. Justice is his mission. Compassion is God's name. Justice is his mission. Today's gospel passage, the story of Zacchaeus, illustrates quite clearly this divine quality. Zacchaeus was a public servant. During the time of Jesus, public servants did not have a good reputation. Zacchaeus, as a chief tax collector, was no exception. He was looked down upon, especially by the religious leaders during his own time, who thought of themselves as the betters. Many thought that because he handled money and taxes, his hands were automatically dirty, and not just physically. His protestation before Jesus hints that some of the charges leveled against him are not totally unfounded. But to Zacchaeus' credit, he did something to set them right, and that is precisely what he told Jesus. And how did Jesus respond? Jesus responded like he always did to persons whom the public may have labeled a sinner. Without belittling the charges against Zacchaeus, he looked rather on the good side of the person, his good resolve, and he gave him a chance to be accepted again by the public. And then he recognized him with a title that surely must have made Zacchaeus proud. He called him a descendant of Abraham. In doing so, Jesus recognized that, like his father in faith, Zacchaeus too is a man of faith. In doing so, Jesus exhibited the quality of God that Mary praises in the Magnificat, his appreciation of humble heart and his mercy on those who respect his justice. When I was young, I experienced this same quality in my grandfather. When he would come back from the farm after a long day's work, only one grandson was given the privilege of untying the shoes and handing him his house slippers. This was reserved for my brother Arturo. You see, Arturo has had some health problems growing up. He was quiet, he didn't speak much, and he could easily be taken for granted amid other siblings who were more aggressive and quick to the draw. But my grandfather wished to give importance to Arturo, and that is why he and he alone had that singular privilege. Today we honor during this novena our public servants, members of the police force, firefighters, emergency medical teams, technicians, and many others. They do the kind of service that one may call routine and even lowly. People only pay attention to it when there is an emergency, like the Twin Tower bombings in 9/11, or when someone has a stroke, or when there is a shooting in the neighborhood or public unrest. By honoring them today, we are taking after the heart of God, looking with favor on their humbleness. This is not, mind you, a token gesture. It is a recognition of the innate goodness that most people in service professions have. For indeed, they are not in this type of career for money. For had they wanted to be millionaires, being a banker might have been a better choice. It is a public secret that many public servants do their service out of a truly unselfish motivation. They simply like to serve because in it they find happiness and fulfillment. They are more than happy to be of service to others. And you know what? God sees this. And we too should see this. In this novena then, let us join Mary in thanking God for having looked with favor on the service of our public servants. Let us also ask her to make us recognize and appreciate the good they do, their sacrifice, their commitment, and the joy and love with which they serve us.